That's when and then we start with the straight lines. And then when you get into organic shapes, then we're gonna start seeing more of these. So you're warming up in this way, and that's what we cover into introduction to course, which is free for everybody to be able to access and see how we warm up. And then we get into our first course, hard surfaces. What is it that we're doing? We are observing the life. We're observing life as we see it, and we're trying to get better at it. All right, cool. So inside here, literally every single part of what we're trying to do is to draw things that represent form, that represent the left, the right, and every side to whatever that we're drawing. And that's very, very important. And what do we start with? We start with boxes. Why? Because boxes help us put everything into, excuse the pun, into perspective. Put everything into a nice proportion. They help us understand that you can only see 1, 2, 3, and everything that's going to fall in has to fall in within that who, that you are either on the right or on the left, or you're at the top. That's it. You cannot be seeing other the fourth dimension. There's not got D inside drawing. So then, and this is now we're starting to see that whatever that you had improved and the skill that you had learned from introduction and in terms of warming up is starting to benefit because you're starting to use some straight lines. And then, but obviously you're starting to see a little bit more complicated things like understanding how to see a cube in every single direction. And then from there, how to make that cube into a perspective and understanding a perspective so that you can learn to observe perspective even when you're outside. So this will also help you to come up with ideas because you've put them in these rules. You'll be able to draw from imagination because you've built this rule, you've built this box, and you said to the box, I need everything to fit within the box. And then comes in the organic surface lessons. So these ones are really, really important because it goes then back to what have we learned about spheres and cylinders? We've learned that they have got these wrapping lines. And how do we manipulate these wrapping lines to be able to see things in form and to be able to see things looking like they're coming towards us or going away from us? And that's very, very important. And I mean, ultimately, if you start even looking at this part of that ginger root, this is like the flat part of a cylinder that has been cut. This is a flat part of a cylinder that has been cut. It's like taking this little French bird and you're cutting it right there and you're getting rid of this part. Excuse me. Right? So it's these are interesting things that you learn. So we start learning about wrapping lines because not everything that we're going to be drawing in life is just going to be hard surfaces, you know. And you can never say, no, I'm a hard surface guy. I just only draw cars. You can draw anything. You can draw anything. Understand the rules. So now we are moving on. So we understand those three courses that we cover and how they are linked to each other. So now we get into value. Value shading. Okay, cool. I don't think I'm gonna cover everything. If you guys are keen, we can do version 2 sometime next week. Maybe let's see how far are we now. Okay, cool. All right, so value shading. Now let's bring in value shading. Value shading is course number 4. All right. So value shading may feel like it's the most boring thing. Why do I need to use black and white when I could be using color? You know, but it's very, very important. It helps you understand certain things that are really, really key. Value shading. So I'm gonna create a layer in here, and I'm gonna call this value. And okay, cool. Now, let me save. It's always important to save. So now let's find something that we can value shade quickly. Okay, I don't have to sketch anything from scratch. What I did there. All right, cool. Let's take this. Let's take this. So let's take this. Let's challenge ourselves. Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's a Saturday morning and we're drawing. Let's do it.
Yay.
Yay. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this. And I'm going to take this all the way to the top there. And I'm going to hide it in where it was. Okay, so just to save time. So now the sketch is already done. We are really happy. Okay, cool. Now here we are. We are sitting with this with this artwork that is almost as complex as we see it, you know, because it's got all these dialogues and all these things that could be looking very complicated. So I could overdo it or I could oversimplify it. All right. So I'm gonna choose to oversimplify it. So now value shading says we've got a box. Once again, we're coming back to the box. Oh my goodness, the box holds everything. It's the all-seeing eye. Okay, so we have, let me find a brush. So I've been using a pencil for quite a while. So let's just mix it up here. Chisel marker. Hello, buddy. You look fancy. Chisel marker. It is. What is this? Okay, cool. Sorry. Every day, I just downloaded the new creature. So every day it's like discovering new things. So value shading says, light is everything. We are seeing color because of light. That's what basically value shading is saying. But how the strength of that value is determined by light, right? So the very fact that we can't see anything, when you cannot see anything inside a room, it means that there is no light. But that doesn't mean that those objects are not there. So you could head into a room and not see any object. But once there's a little bit of light coming from somewhere, maybe daylight, then you're going to start seeing the objects and what the objects really do, the form. So you'll see how big, how deep do they go into the room, or how shallow are they in the room. So value shading really is how we as human beings live. So we make these decisions on every day. So you can get somebody who's colorblind. I don't know what that means, but you can literally live in a black and white world. And like you could be in a world where there's no color, you know, but because of value, we can be able to see how far things go. You can be able to see where things curve. Then you won't bump into walls because the wall will tell you that, and value will tell you that this is a solid thing here and it ends there. And that's very, very important. So what do we then do? So once we start turning on the light, we start seeing the strength of this value. So everything else kind of like falls within the spectrum. Very dark. And I'm going to just take it here and just add my value there. And then we'll go all the way to like a very lighter value. And then we'll hit it somewhere in the middle. Okay, so what then we start seeing here, we are transitioning. Okay. Okay, so we are literally seeing things in this spectrum over here. We are seeing things starting from here. And then we got into the middle over here, and then we got to the lighter value. So this is our middle value, So this is what we can call our mid-tone, and this is going to be our dark tone, and this is going to be our high tone. So when we see light literally sits within this realm. So it's just going to do this. So this is your mid-tone. This is basically how everything, without the super lighting and whatever, this is how everything is going to be. It has, and I'm just going to draw over the lines. I just want to show you how powerful value is. You don't have to have a line, like a line, like a cartoony line as we know it. So I'm just going to fill this up with a mid-tone. We don't use lines when you do value shading. We use form, tones to define what we need to define. Ooh, I'm left with 10 minutes for this call. Okay, cool. That's a solid gray box. That is only using one single tone, a mid-tone. And then we're like, no, you can't work like that. So what do we see? So it's either we go for a very dark tone, which is not what we want to do because the changeover is not that much. If there's not too much light coming in, if there's not like harsh light, and this is not like in you know when you're watching The Matrix and Neo was in that white room and everything just felt so harsh, you know, like whatever that is black will be super black and whatever that is light will be super white. That's not the type of room that we're in. We're not in an artificial room space. So what we'll say is that this is our changeover. There's light coming from there, and this is our tone. So this will be our base tone. So what does that mean? So we're gonna take this. Notice there is no line, zero line whatsoever. Okay, cool. So we are then saying there is light coming from the top. That's too much. Any little contrast, that's a new word that we're going to be learning in that course as well. Every single little contrast that is introduced within our tones as we do our value shading really tells us there is a change of direction. Or there's a change of a plane, okay? Things are changing a little bit. There's a little bit of a hard surface. There's a little bit of a surface there that is either going up or going down. Okay, what are we sitting with there? Look at that. No line, zero line, but we have understood that by introducing this value over here, and let me just do, by introducing this value over here and introducing this value over here and keeping everything to our and this value over here, this tells us that this is the top, this is the side the side that doesn't receive too much light. So, and this is the side that receives light. Check how powerful that is. And then occasionally, depending on the surface that you are drawing, if there is the surface, you don't always have to go here. You know, like I found people doing this. Like, why do you need that for? Because this literally, the change of tone tells us that this surface is changing. So you don't need to use that white to separate the two. We can see that. Our eyes can see that. We don't even have to have a line like this. I've seen people do this. Guess what? The world that you live in does not have that line. The world that you live in really works within this way. it actually is two tones. So when you go outside, just look at the walls around you, you will see that the other side of the wall that's not receiving too much light is a little bit darker. The other side of the wall that's receiving light is also a little bit lighter. So it's very, very important that you understand that. And everything else that you're going to be drawing is going to fall within those rules. Now, where do we start? And now you can then have a variety of these things that you can play with. Where do I start with this thing? I think I should just create a layer underneath. And I'm just going to use my selection tool. You will use selection tools a lot. And we teach you about selection tools in the introduction course. Cool. So I am going to be bold. I'm going to take my mid-tone. Here's my mid-tone. Okay, cool. That's my mid-tone there. Yeah, feel it's there. Yeah, that's a mid-tone. It doesn't go any darker than this. It's there. Stop. All right, cool. So I am then going to say, what do I see? Here I see everything else that is on the right-hand side is going to be more this. It's going to start here and go all the way down. Okay. And everything else that is, let's see. Okay, I can't see the top, I can't see the bottom. So it is what it is. So that's where I am at. So am I happy with my values? I feel like my values are too dark. Okay, cool. Can I take it down? Okay, I can use this as my new mid-tone. Okay, cool. Block out everything. Okay, sweet. Now I am using this as my middle line. So let me just show you. This is my now new middle line. This guy over here. This is my now new middle line. Not this one, not the one before him, the one after him. This is going to be my new midtone, so I can use the other ones as my other midtones. Okay, cool. So I am then going to, I just click on this little magical button over here. This button is basically us saying that this is, I'm using this as my selection. So I click on that, and you'll notice once I start adding some my lighter tone on this side, everything will still stay in place. So it's kind of like creating a stencil for me. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I feel like that's what I am seeing, really. You know?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right, cool. Oh my goodness. Can I have 5 minutes of your time, guys? 5 minutes of your time?
Yes, definitely.
And then I'll send out a schedule because we still haven't covered color, figure painting, portraits, and figure sketching. So next week we'll be covering those four. Today I just want to finish up with the value shading quickly, and then I'm out of your way. So now what are we going to be doing? So we are then going to create, so what we are learning here, we are learning a very, very powerful discipline. We are then saying, okay, this is going to be my base and that's going to be my shading. So I am then going to be a super bold guy and match this thing. So in other words, I'm going to combine the layers. Be bold, be bold. We are painting. Right. So I am then going to say, what am I seeing? I am seeing this. Okay, cool. I am going to start shading my stuff. That's my value. That's where I started. Okay, cool. Who's my new normal here? Okay, this guy's my new normal here. So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to say that is going to be there. So I need my reference close up. Need my reference closer. Shading takes a little bit of a while and we might not finish this, but you'll understand the concept and probably I'll finish it later in the evening so that you can have the video recording of it. The whole thing, I'll probably speed it up. Okay, cool. So now I'm seeing a darker part. So what I'm seeing, if it's gonna be that dark, so remember earlier on I was not seeing anything dark, right? So I'm gonna just take a darker tone to represent anything that's gonna be dark there. And I'm just literally forming boxes. I'm gonna stay disciplined on this. Okay. And what are we seeing there? I'm going over the sketches. Now this is facing up. If it's facing up, it'll look like this. All right, cool. So I'm gonna just, that is going to be dark. So I'm using this. I am going over those lines and I'm creating contrast in between these things. I'm gonna go dark because it's right in the shadow area. Okay, so I'm eating off the lines. It's very important that I do that because so that this doesn't look like a line work or a sketch, but like a painting. Okay, cool. So I am then going to come back and add a little bit of dirt there, just mix it up a little bit, and then start going. So I'm gonna take this dark line, I'm gonna sketch over it. Okay. How many lines do I see there? I see 2 lines actually. So I'm gonna do this one. Fix this. Okay. And now things are starting to change tone a little bit. Once we get here, there you go. I get it. Okay, cool. That is still exposed to the light a little bit, but a little bit light darker. Okay. And what am I seeing there? No, the still stays the same. Oh, there's a shadow. Uh-huh. So that's gonna go all the way down. Okay. So I feel like this tone should get a little bit darker. I'm going this. No line. The only line that you should be seeing is the line that should be for line work. I'm not for line work, for to show that things are cutting into each other. Okay, cool. Let's get that done. And try not to do a smooth shading. It's all about texturing this whole thing. What is texturing? Texturing is when you see a little bit of dirt here and a little bit of nice there. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna get directional here. Yeah, so this is where you can use a little bit of creativity. So you use your selection tool. So your selection tool allows you to just there's a little bit of that thing on there. So I'm just gonna use it. Your selection tools allow you, it's like that's fancy. I've never seen that before. They allow you to just get a little bit critical or cleaner. So I'm just gonna I need that little peak highlight there. Okay, to just really go all the way to the top there. Reverse selection, invert selection, and clean up this line there. So when you reverse selection so the selection tool allows you to draw within or to paint or draw color within a line. And once you reverse selection, then allows you to just draw outside it. Okay, cool. Shift Command A. So you see already you're starting to see this part starting to form. So now you can make some really critical decisions for yourself and say, I am seeing a little bit of a line there. So I'm gonna just take this. It's a cut. It's not a line work, it's a cut. Look, so I'm already seeing so much of a difference in my shading already because I'm now starting to use foam to define things and no longer using line work. Okay, cool. What's the time? 3 minutes. Let you guys go. Look at this change over here. And there's a little bit of a cut that goes in there. Oh, I love this. Value shading teaches so much. And there's a bit of a highlight peak there. I'm gonna just add in that at the top. Oh, look at that. Use these white lines sparingly, guys. Don't overdo that because otherwise, if you do that, your artwork starts looking like candy.
It's just to give it nice definition.
It gives it definition, exactly. And the real reason for that, also definition is also determined by the material. There are some materials that are not that reflective. They don't shine that much. Some materials are reflective. So always be careful when you use this stuff that at what level do you use it? It's what we call a specular. So what level of specular do you use on that? So I'm just gonna end this over here. And I think at this point, you are starting to see the importance of value shading because value shading helps us understand light without having to really think that hard. So every time when you're going to start doing your final color, you want to see how this basically starts making sense in terms of color. You make these decisions as to things should not be so contrasting, So I'm going to finish this tonight, and then I'm going to just upload it as well on the platform so that you can be able to see how far this thing went. But I'm gonna keep using as I finish this whole thing, I'm going to keep using the same values, go back and forth, build contrast, go back and forth, build contrast. Is it too much of a contrast? Is it too much, a little of a contrast? And that's basically what this is going to be about. All right. So, final recap. We started with this. And then from there, our introduction to Krita teaches us how to warm up. We start understanding the tools a little bit better. Great. Then our warm-ups start informing how we start sketching, right? And then comes in the hard surface sketch. So this is where now the beauty of all of this warm-ups come in, because now you straight lines and all of that. We did some boxes, which help us to understand how to draw everything within the boxes. And then from there, we get into our organic surfaces, and our organic surfaces also enable us to understand wrapping lines. They start also reinforcing the idea of spheres and cylinders, and how we can be able to see something that is organic, but still see that it's coming towards us, going away from us. Great. And now the key thing about all of that is that once you start understanding how a box is designed, then you start also now learning the rules of what value or what happens to that box when it receives light, than everything else that is in there. So this then comes in the rules of value shading and tones, that while you're living with a very specific spectrum, and then it's receiving that high end of the spectrum, the very last end of the spectrum, or the very last bit of the spectrum, or anything or something within the in between. So, but use everything sparingly. I can also already see that this dark line here on this phone is too dark. The value contrast is too much. So I need to kind of like go back and get something that doesn't have such a high contrast, creating a little bit of a jarring visual issue here. Sorry. I'm OCD. Okay, cool. So now everything starts feeling a little bit more comfortable for my eye. So I then can also go back and push it down a little bit so that nothing looks like it's a hole, or it looks like it's popping out too much, but it still needs to feel within contrast. And that's how you can be able to start learning how to even shade human beings and shade portraits, so that the part of the nostrils that are in there don't look like it's a big hole, and everything else is like receiving nice light. So you start controlling the contrast, you start controlling the tones, and understanding that you need to work within that space, unless if you are creating a hole in the middle of a scene. That's understandable. Then you'll probably go for something very, very dark. And the following week, next week, I would like you guys to just please look at those courses that we offer. Understand how this can really help you. We give feedback and we go deeper into these things, and you start understanding more than anything how eventually you can be able to start drawing portraits like these and paint like this. And next week, we're going to cover these three things. We're going to look at color, and we're going to look at figure drawing. We're going to look at figure painting, and then we're going to look at doing portraits. I really hope this was so